Hello and good morning. Towards the end of Jesus' time with his disciples, some of them didn't seem any clearer as to what was going on than they did at the beginning. And they behaved very much like you and I. They talked and argued amongst themselves. They tried to figure out what was happening and do things in their own strength. And at one point, they're discussing amongst themselves who of them is going to be the most important, the greatest disciple, the one who's going to follow Jesus the most boldly and bravely. It's kind of a one-upmanship going on amongst them. Jesus senses this and talks to them. And at the end of this passage where he talks to them, addresses them about not pushing themselves forward and not being so aggressive in their attempts to prove to everybody that Jesus is right, he asks them to be a servant rather than a king. He says to them, and particularly to Simon Peter, he says this: Simon, Simon, Satan has asked to sift you as wheat, but I have prayed for you, Simon, that your faith may not fail, and when you have turned back, strengthen your brothers. Peter, as we read a few days ago, goes on to say, yes, but I'll follow you into prison and even unto death. And he really is quite headstrong about how he's going to be. But what Jesus is saying is that it's going to be difficult. There's going to be times when you're tempted to turn away. It's going to be times of persecution. Be aware, my brothers, he's saying to them, that there are going to be difficult times. And in those times, I want you to be servants and encouragers of one another. I don't want you to go off trying to create a new kingdom or a new way of being. I want you to follow my decrees and follow the things that I say and be a servant of other people. Because he says, have I not come and be a servant amongst you? Which of course he was. So Simon has to wrestle with this, has to wrestle with his own desire to help Jesus to be everything that he needs to be and to serve him in the right way. It's an inner struggle that Simon Peter goes through as he starts this new life, as they all have to go through, as we all have to go through. We want to do the best, and that's right and good. But we've also got to do it as servants and importantly, most important here, as encouragers of others. He says to him, when you turn back to my ways and stop being so headstrong, when you turn back to the way that I'm asking you to go, you will find that I am with you and I want you to encourage your brothers. And that's so important, isn't it, in life, to encourage other people. That's what the Lord calls us to be, encouragers of others. It's very difficult sometimes to encourage people, especially when we think they're getting it wrong or they're not doing what they should be or they're not doing enough. It's almost completely absent from public life. You never see anybody coming onto the news and saying, just want to encourage you, Prime Minister, for what you're doing at the moment. I think you're doing a good job. I don't think I've ever heard that said of any Prime Minister. Encouragement is not really considered cool at the moment. But it is the way of Jesus, and it is an important facet of our life that we should be encouragers of other people. Perhaps there's someone today, this weekend, that you might encourage by a word, a letter, an email, some way you might encourage someone in what they're doing. Actually, the encouragement you give to others not only benefits them, it benefits us also. You feel so much better about yourself when you encourage someone else, especially if there's nothing to gain from it for you. It's done completely altruistically, completely for the benefit of the other person. Look to see if there's someone you can encourage this weekend. Bye now.